loud. There we go. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, come on, come all to the sideshow freak that is Schizoid Angst. Alright. Got a few of you here. Tonight sucks, Saren. It's unfortunate. Why is it? Why does tonight suck? You don't have to share, I'm just asking. But curious to why tonight sucks in particular compared to other nights that suck. This one is particularly sucky. Or something. By the way, for the album, I'm listening to an old Ada Rook album. I haven't heard in a long time because it wasn't uploaded anywhere. But it's there now, which is pretty cool. Probably like a year ago and I didn't notice on some like small channel. Why is it doing that? That's weird. I like to post whatever I'm listening to if I can. Hey Don. Yeah, fun little album. Anyway. So how's everyone today? Alright? Saren's not doing so good. How about everybody else? Everyone doing kind of mediocre or shitty? Or how are we holding up, everybody? How are the Zoids out there doing? How are the schizoid autists and schizos out there doing? How are you guys handling? How are we holding up? Ooh, ended a couple of friendships. Like the only ones I had. LOL. Yep. Were they friendships or were they like something else? You know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Were they actual connections? I know a lot of us have had a lot of pseudo connections. A lot of schizoids deal with that. You know what I mean? If you ended, then I'm sure there was a long going reason for it. I'm gonna go ahead and guess. Tired processor overload. Oof. That can be rough. That can be rough. A little burnout. That sort of deal, basically. My hair's bugging me today. Like, it's just like not moving where I want it to. And it's just bugging the shit out of me. And like, it's like, I don't know, it's just like the placement's all off. I don't know why it's bugging me so much, but today it's just bothering me. I need like a comb or something. It's just, ugh. Look at that, like what the fuck is it doing? What's it doing? Stupid ass hair gets getting caught in the goddamn headphones too. Like, being weird. Anyway, that matters. Oh, everybody left already? Hey, Trudy. People with borderline personality disorder are scary. Had a knife to my throat this morning for a split second. Didn't even realize until they threw it across the room. Wait, Trudy, I thought you lived by yourself. Why you got people put in, Oh, I put the album, LMT, I put the album right there in the chat. Does it show up for you? It was, I think, the second track on that album. I think it was called no, actually it was the first track. It was Leaves. It's a long one. It's like 9 minutes, but it's good shit. Yeah, it's Ada Rook. It's very cool stuff. Crazy X. Damn, Trudy. They know where you live and shit? Oh, damn, Trudy. Yeah, be careful with that shit. No more dating crazies for you. Okay? You gotta be careful. Alright, let's see here. We got... Sorry, I'm getting distractions here. Wait, your Crazy Ex lives next door? I was trying to help fix their car and all went sideways when I said their car is kind of shit. Oof. Yeah, it's probably not good to say. Especially if it's somebody that's very emotionally volatile there, Trudy. What I mean? I'm guessing... Alright, let me see here. Why is it doing that? Is the stream freezing or acting weird? Ah, it looks like it's stable. Huh. I'm not sure what it's doing then. What is it doing now? Sorry, my thing's acting dumb. Alright, there we go. Alright, so... Psych Bear here made it seem stable. Cool, cool. Hey, Psych Bear. Man, even YouTube lies to me. I don't get it. Because, like, Twitch says there's only, like, one person watching. YouTube says there's 2 people watching, yet I'm seeing all these people in chat. And I'm like... And it said 5 or 6, and then it dropped down to 2. So that's why, like, when I see those weird drops, I just go like, oh shit, did the stream go down? Or did something go wrong? And it makes me all paranoid. Because people just be disappearing. Yeah, you just logged on, but I don't know. I just had like 1, 2, 3, 4 different people chat in chat. And then you logged on and it's like, it drops down to like 2. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, YouTube. So when I see that, like, I just think, oh shit, something must have went wrong. Like, because when it goes from 5 to 2 over the course of 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes, it usually means something went wrong on average. People don't usually like jump on a stream, say one thing in chat, and then just log off. That's not usually what happens. But maybe that's what happened, I don't know. It's pretty funny if that's the case. Oh, now it shot back up to 6. There you go. Shot right back up to 6. It's just YouTube being stupid. All their shit's all messed up. But, so I do have something to talk about today. I do have a topic since it is Tiresome Tuesdays, and on Tiresome Tuesdays, there is a topic. And the topic for today that I have been rattling around in my head, I had one, but then I had a conversation with somebody, and then I made something else rattle in my head, and now it's stuck in my head, and now I gotta talk about it. So what I want to talk about is how people, and I've noticed this about the autists and the schizos together, right? And the zoids, well, the schizoids more particularly, will be, whether they're on one side or the other, they'll usually like spend a lot of time thinking about this. and a lot of time spent on it, and a lot of discomfort and disappointment and feelings of inadequacy can come from it, or just sort of like apathy can develop because of it. And that thing I want to talk about is sort of like, how do I explain this? I'll see a lot of Zoids, even on the server, talking about like these really kind of big concepts, not necessarily abstract ones, but can very much be concrete in many ways. But they're usually not like associated with like things like community or people around them, or things that actually exist like um, immediately around them. Sometimes there'll be like a fucking hair today, dude. There'll be a preoccupation with some kind of like meta narrative, right? Of some kind. And it could be something about nature, or it could be something about psychology, or it can be something about philosophy, or it can be something about math and science and all kinds of shit. Dude, my hair is driving me crazy today. I don't know what is going on with it. It's like all weird and stringy at the end, and I don't understand why. It's fucking with me. But and uh and they'll have all these preoccupations that are kind of like up here somewhere, right? Some kind of meta narrative. And their internal fantasies will oftentimes be made up of these kind of meta narratives, and sometimes the fantasies are involved in them. Like being in a position in which maybe like sometimes it's like dreaming or fantasizing about being in a position in which you could change something about those meta. Oh, dude, it's driving me crazy because it looks like I have a fucking comb over. It freaks me out because I'm like, I don't want to look like my fucking dad or something. There. And so um and so then like there's this preoccupation with like these meta narratives, and we'll forget about all the steps. Don't let it distract you. All the steps that lead up to it, right? Um and all the steps leading up to it are just sort of forgotten, right? Uh and this can happen on both ends, because meta narratives can exist in the very concrete and also the very abstract. So I think this folly or this issue is something that schizoids just kind of do in general, regardless of what side of the spectrum they fall under, right? Because you guys already know I'm not going to repeat it over. I have to repeat it over and over. My perspective is that schizopersonality disorder is an exclusively neurodivergent personality disorder, and there are very particular reasons for why it develops. Anyway, and so then all the steps in between get forgotten, or they're just not really readily available for a variety of reasons I've also talked about before. And we don't manage to make those small connections between this meta narrative we either think about or fantasize or get depressed about, and basically like things insofar as our place in everything in some way or aspect or another as an individual, or missing that component of feeling as if you are a part of a thing of any kind, and so feeling unmotivated because you feel like you are not essentially belonging or associated to whatever meta narratives are already existing and available and you're able to work toward in the actual world. And it's interesting, because what's forgotten is that in every meta narrative there are all these layers below it that are interconnected and intertwined, and on top of that there are concepts and ideas that might not be normal or neuronormative, but still very much exists in like a bunch of more niche or esoteric realms of some kind. And I'm not saying esoteric just occult or spiritual, but also within like niche kind of philosophical, sociological, psychological concepts and ideas. And I just think about it because it it makes sense now to shift your perspective about lower layers of things, even though you live in these upper meta narrative layers, or your fantasies may run in conjunction with them. Like, I can't imagine there's too many schizoids sitting around all sad about how, like, they wish they had, like, this really potent social life that looks like, feels like what other people's social lives look and feel like, that they see other people do, right? Um, able to go from butterfly to storm. Yeah, but that's the thing. We forget about the butterflies. That's my point. We kind of look past the butterflies and preoccupy ourselves entirely with the storm. And even if, like, and so it's like there's always this constant search, this constant wanting to, like, resolve this issue, this meta narrative issue, this philosophical issue in our head about ourselves, existential ones of some kind, more maybe death anxiety stuff, um, all kinds of anxieties that we're just constantly trying to, like, resolve, that are up here in the stratosphere. Whether, you know, whether we're talking concrete or abstract, it's still just kind of these meta narratives. And so then, like, we're like reaching for the fucking stars here, and even if it's only internally, and we're like overlooking the ladder, is what I'm saying, right? And it makes sense why we'd overlook it. I mean, because it's just not cognitively intuitive to look at this ladder around us that just doesn't really feel relevant or interesting, right? And I think that's partially because we were never taught by anyone the parts of the ladder, or we're even given the option to see the parts of the ladder that would actually be enjoyable or make sense to us. We were never taught or shown the things that attach that ladder up to wherever that meta narrative is that we care about. I was a CSI for 3 years. Oof, that's rough. That's rough, Petrat. But am I sounding crazy, or do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Like, the problem with me is that I often think and speak in, like, this symbolic way of saying stuff that seems really vague, and I need other people's help to sort of piece together what it is that I can say in a way that would make more sense. Who in the right mind would want a normal social life? Connecting all the steps is difficult. A lot of people want all that. Most people want all that. Most people want that. Very much. There's jealousy and envy of all kinds because some people have it and some people don't, and other people have more of it and the other people have less. I know something about photography only because my wife she likes to do photography and has been a photographer. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. So people, relationships, there are aspects to all that. Humans, even at an individual level, there are aspects to all that that connect to whatever your unique preoccupation with whatever meta narrative you have. And everyone's can be really, really different. You know, some people are preoccupied with things like, uh, you know, more interpersonal connection. Other people are preoccupied with, you know, big problems about society and the world and how people interact with each other, and how you go into a store or you go into a social event and then you just see all this emptiness and all this hollowness and these missing pieces and, like, this kind of all this negative shit sometimes. And I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of it is actually there, but just there's no way for you to be able to actually actively tackle this issue that you can't resolve in your mind, because you don't know what steps to take to even do so, right? You don't know what the steps to take or what rewards there could possibly be in your environment that could help you achieve some version, some small but tenable version of actively working toward this meta narrative that you want to see resolved. It's sort of like, it feels like the philosophical equivalent of, the saying of like, oh, people that get rich, like, they just find out that they're just like, all they do is find out is that they had nothing. They felt empty. Like, they're just like, they end up getting depressed. Like, like, because, they have all the material means now. And so there's nothing to work toward, nothing to fight for, at least in their mind. Oh, shoulder. I feel like a lot of schizoids do kind of like a philosophical version of that. Like, they'll be like, oh, I could see this big picture about so many these specific things, and then like oh, well, now that I see this big picture, everything else seems so small, and I don't want to even bother with it. I don't even want to even be a part of it. It all seems so tainted and disjointed and whatever. I don't know. So humans can see a lot of the range from light, from dark to bright, but not all of it. Part of why it's so damn hard being a wedding photographer. How do you set the camera to perceive all the darks? Oh, yeah. See, but that's a thing. Like, okay, somebody can complain that they're trying to take a photograph and they're trying to take the perfect picture to get all the lights and all the dark and all the things, right? And they might be missing the fact that there's one particular individual or tree or section or angle that, although it doesn't show everything, it shows something important. And that important thing is going to be missed in the effort to create a perfect picture. Does that make sense? Dang, my shoulder hurts. Yeah, so they're like, there's these little elements that are lost, is what I'm saying, when we concern ourselves with all these big pictures and try to fix all the problems inside of us regarding our relationship with that big picture. And concentrating so much on our relationship with the meta narrative, with the big picture, whatever that is to you, is kind of fucking some of us up. And it's a little bit of a self-inflicted trick, in some ways, right? But I understand why it happens. It makes perfect sense why the conditions lined up for this sort of stuff to occur. Um, but I think it's a common problem I dealt with for most of my 20s, and I still sometimes struggle with, but I have to kind of rein it in, right? Like, okay, so I had a friend today ask me, yeah, I get to say that. That feels pretty crazy that I get to say, like, and it's like super like, I'm actually like vibing, emotionally connected to the person I'm talking to, like in a friend way, like I trust this person and respect their opinion, sort of way. It's kind of crazy, but or I feel understood. There you go. That's a better way, because I've respected people before and I've trusted people's opinion, but friend in the capacity that I feel understood by these people that I call friends. Anyway, and so they asked me about why is it that you do all this? They asked me, like, why do you care? Well, they asked me, why do you care about this? Like, why do you care about the project? Why do you care about the other schizoids? Why do you care about neurodivergency? Why do you care about dedicating your life to this, if it's ever possible? Why do you care so much about it? And I had so many answers, right? Because my next question was, what do you mean? Like, are we talking like meta narrative in the stratosphere, like long-term goals, short-term goals, concrete, immediate relationships? Like, that's all that's going through my head. Like, what? And they said, no, just I want you to answer it to the best of your ability. Like, it's kind of supposed to be a vague question. I'm like, all right, and I basically started from the bottom up, right? Why I do this. So first I was saying, okay, so on the most concrete level, The reason I do this is because I have children and I'm schizoid. I developed this personality disorder, but I'm also neurodivergent in the schizo-spectrum side of things. And I'm not going to explain why that's the case. No positive symptoms, all negative, but the type of cognition and intuitive thinking that I do is all schizoid. And I said, and there's a distinct possibility all that stuff can be passed down to my children. And so one of my kids could, have this predilection or this cognitive difference. Just like if somebody that's autistic has kids, there's a chance that they're going to have an autistic child, right? There's a higher chance of that kind of stuff. And so then I think, well, with my grandkids as well, like when my kids have kids and my grandkids, like they're going to go through the same, I don't want them to go through the same terrors that I did, and the same anxiety and the same questions and confusion and trauma, right? Internal trauma. I don't want that for them. This is on the concrete level, right? I don't want that. And I don't think it should happen. And I want to avoid that. Okay, so then I go up a layer. Let's go up a layer. And then I go, okay, I went through this. I don't want this to happen to anyone. Obviously, it's going to happen. But I want to do something to make it so that it happens less. Right? So just as a social or community or human civilization concept, like on that lower level, I go, I want that to happen less to people in general, right? So we just went up from my family to people that are dealing with this, right? And then I think about it on the fully internal psychological level, and I just go, okay, that's because I don't want people to not connect to people, like to make like to find friends that understand them and connect to them in the way that makes sense to them, which is often a very neurodivergent way. I don't want them to have to wait till they're 40 like me. I'm 39. Like, that's crazy. Shouldn't have taken that long. I want people to be doing this even if they develop the schizoid PD stuff. I want people to figure this out and overcome aspects of it they're comfortable with overcoming at their mid 20s or late 20s, like something like sooner, so they don't have to live that fucking whole porcupine dilemma for goddamn 20 years. That's crazy. And then and masking and all the fucking problems of doing it and not being able to separate your mask from yourself because you've done it for like 15 years. Like, it's just that kind of stuff doesn't have to happen. Okay, so that's part of so we're going up another layer. So we'll go up another layer, and we're working our way toward like the meta narrative, right? And so the next layer is what? What's above it? Above that? Okay, we're gonna do a few jumps here, but for me it'll be about just my kind of philosophical interpretation and beliefs regarding what metacognition is, right? And why it's the most valuable thing that humanity can propagate and perpetuate inside the minds of future generations. The ability to think outside of one's own mind or experience, regardless of the lived experience it is, to be able to remove yourself from yourself, even in a kind of just thought experiment sort of way, and try to perceive other people and other living things, and then respecting their individual sort of unique needs and sufferings, right? That's when I'm talking about metacognition, it's about that, being able to essentially, to put it simply, putting yourself in other people's shoes or other living things' shoes, right? It doesn't have to be people necessarily. I know there's a lot of animal lovers out there that do this, right? And they don't even anthropomorphize animals. They just go, well, animals have their own experiences and thinking and suffering, and it's just as valuable and respectable as my own or that of humans. And there's, I'm not going to get into a whole debate on that, and that's a whole mess in and of itself, right? But you get my point. For humans to at least be able to metacognate outside within their own species is probably like step one. They already sort of do it on like a race-based level. They can they can transcend certain types of tribalism based on certain types of innate traits. Human beings have been doing significantly well and better over time regarding all that. That's good, but it's too slow, and I get really, what's the word? I'm really impatient because it's probably the ADHD, but I'm really impatient. It's like I'm just like, why can't humans just metacognate more faster? Just learn, motherfuckers, you know. And and so like you know, but the small way you can spread it, like a virus. No, the small way you can do it is when you see somebody else make a comment about another person, because that either that person's being annoying or frustrating or whatever it is that they're doing. If you notice a set of context or another layer that maybe that person isn't acknowledging, it might be helpful. Sometimes it's not, to bring up that small bit, just to bring it up, just to make them think twice about the context they're not including, the context and the nuance that they're just not considering. It doesn't have to change their mind. It doesn't have to change their position entirely, but nonetheless, there's a little bit of context, and it has to work not on these big arguments, these big debates, philosophical. It can work. It's on the smallest of levels. Right. So that's another way I connect, like the very concrete with these kind of, you know. But point is, all this stuff with the schizoids and all this stuff is also perpetuating the meta narrative that I talk about there needs to be an increase in metacognition, and there needs to be children and people, society, culturally, your parents, whatever. We need to talk about suffering and delineate and understand and categorize types of suffering, and why they exist, how they can be prevented, what types of suffering is good, what type of suffering is bad, because some suffering's really good, and some of it's incredibly bad and useless and unproductive, right? So that's like a meta narrative, well, a meta narrative above everything I do that I just talked about, all the other layers leading up to it. It's like a ladder, right? And then I go a step beyond that, right? And then I can start entering like the metaphysical realm, right? For me, it'll be the spiritual matters. It'll be philosophical, metaphysical, spiritual matters that extend beyond even myself. Something that is like bigger than I am, in the sense that like it's something that I have no control over. It is as it is in some way that's incomprehensible to me or some shit. And so like for example, like I believe in afterlife, as I mentioned in other streams. I believe people die. I believe consciousness does exist after death. Those are my little woo-woo beliefs, but I believe that it's going to be more suffering and more ignorance and more of the same. So, one of my concerns is, imagine a schizoid dies all alone, never connecting, and then they wake up in this afterlife and it's more of the same, and they feel just disconnected, and they have anybody there to talk to interact with, to expand upon, or do anything. Even if you get cooler, I don't know, like you can fucking make things with your mind a little bit easier or some shit, you're just still gonna be just utterly desolate. And I'm just thinking, like, I don't want that for us. Like, what if we have to make connections while alive so that we can at least be ghosts that can find other people to connect with? So we have to find the type of people we can connect with, and the ways in which we are comfortable connecting. So you know what I mean. So like that's what I think, and so that's my belief system. So that's like another layer of meta narrative, right? My belief system is, I want to, so you see where it goes, right? Suffering in my family, myself, the suffering of people, that are like this or have this issue, the suffering of all humans because of this lack of metacognition and misunderstanding and the problems it causes and the control it lets other fucking psychopaths take advantage of because it's so easy to manipulate people when they're lacking in this metacognition. And then there's that weird metaphysical spiritual layer, but it's all just fucking right. And so in my mind I go, okay, I can't do anything about the other layers very much, right? So which ones can I actually do something? Which ones can I actually work on? And well, me, you know, in my case, I'm not saying everybody, but in my case, I made a YouTube channel. It got some people talking to me. Found out that there were more people that felt the same way as I did, that had the same diagnosis. Found out there was no community or no place for them to talk. Found out that there was even like dogma within their own the pseudo communities like Schizoid Reddit, right? And there was like a sort of weird like isolation based elitism. I don't know, it was just weird shit. And so I'm like, okay, what's up with that? Went deeper, did more layers, server got going, had a lot of ups and downs with that, a lot of issues. Learning how to talk with people, what to watch out for, how to connect, how to communicate, how to be able to be comfortable with depending on others to build something bigger over time. Like all this shit I've done, like I said, over 3 years now. But I had to start somewhere, right? And I'm still like, in my mind, right? I'm still like this is not enough. But I can't concentrate on, oh, it's never enough. It's never enough. Like, I'm just going to drive myself batty. So all I can do is concentrate on the smaller things or the lower layer things that I know ultimately connect to the meta narratives that I aspire to or care about. Right? Does that make sense? And then when you have enough... Fuck, dude, my hair's just driving me nuts today. I don't know why it's bothering me. When you have enough people doing that, right? Let's just say like imagine this. Imagine, and I'm not saying like exactly how I did it. Don't try to fucking move in on my property. No, I'm kidding. But imagine instead of just a schizoid angst, there's 30 schizoid angsts, and they're not just doing content stuff or they're doing different kind of content, or they're making art, or they're doing some research, or they're doing some science that all leads to, you know, this kind of more understanding and metacognition and stuff in their own ways in the fields that they think is important, in the most, like, starting from scratch and working their way up and just making little dents and little dents and little dents, and then there's like 100 fucking angsts and 200, you know what I mean? Like people just doing shit, right? And there are some out there already, because you got Schizoid Vision, you got Joanna, I work with her. Speaking of which, remember guys, please, here, because we have seats open and we're trying to fill them so that we can help some people. It costs money. I'm sorry, you don't have to, but she's a she's a Gestalt psych coach, and me and her do like support group coaching stuff, whatever. But sorry, I just I have to promote it, because otherwise I fucking forget if I fucking don't. And this money just goes toward me being able to do more of this kind of shit. Remember guys, I'm not just relying on this. I work a full-time job as well. But if you this is something that I do on the weekends, and there's a whole thing coming up and there's still spots, take advantage of it, please. Anyway, and there's testimonials there if you don't believe me, but it's useful. Okay, back to what I was saying. I'm out there telling people to calm down. Yeah. So if there's all these people doing all these little things, making all these little dents, all that shit collectively is going to impact in some way or another the meta-narrative that you're concerned with. Right? Because you ain't doing it by yourself. And even the people that eventually get into positions where they can actually like do something by themselves, they don't. Because you have to concentrate on all kinds of shit that you know you're not going to want to concentrate on. That you don't become a Jeff Bezos and an Elon Musk that has the power to essentially just paradigm shift shit Uh, right? And it's just all just RNG and good intentions. It's not. You're gonna get specific types of personalities out there, right? And they're gonna have very specific types of concerns. Like imagine being so overly concerned with like, oh, we gotta like, I don't know, colonize Mars and get humans to start terraforming in other planets or whatever, right? And then just going, that's going to change everything. That'll fix all the problems that trickling down. It'll fix everything, and then that's all you focus on. And you might have the means, right, to focus on that, but then everyone else is just like, yo, there's all these like fucking layers that are just absolutely being ignored because you're trying to achieve some kind of legacy or like historic fucking great man type bullshit, right? It's crazy to me, man. Hyper individualism is fucking sad. No, you're right. It is fucking terrible. And it just doesn't produce much. It doesn't really produce anything but like people that eventually just uh isolate and do anything, or people that reach the pinnacle of success and still don't do anything. It's a dead end. Yeah, hyper individualism is a complete dead end. Absolutely. Total dead end. You're just atomizing yourself. It's crazy. If every human being and every individual took upon themselves some like hyper individualistic um philosophy, it'd be like the easiest motherfucking thing to control for people that are just gonna be thinking on a meta scale and just looking at all these individuals, and they're just gonna be so easy to fucking manipulate. It's crazy. Crazy easy. Because hyper individualism is what? Super low level metacognition. That's all. It's like some of the lowest level metacognition possible. Like you're just thinking about your next meal and your needs and your wants, and it's like crazy, man. Shit's wild to me. Especially as somebody that like, oddly enough, my needs and my wants like involve like a lot more than just me. But that's because I'm a schizo, so whatever. But they're already easy to manipulate. I know. That's my point. It's just it just gets easy. That's why the keys to breaking thy chains is metacognition, in my opinion. But let's just not. I'm not going to go down that route. Like one of the things I think about, and this is another thing I had said to my friend. I Whenever I come across somebody, like okay, for example, somebody showed up on the server and they were saying some like, and it was in the annex section. They were saying some wild stuff, right? Like just very very conspiratorial, very kind of off the reservation, as they say, kind of stuff, right? And like this is my thought. My thought is that could have been me doing that in a different way, in a different type of preoccupation, in a different form of paranoia. Like if certain cards didn't stack right, and I had even more trauma, and I never found someone like my wife, and didn't have the kids that I had, and found that the special person I was able to connect with, at least that single person, at some point in my 20s, and like if I didn't, and even then, even though I was connected to my wife, we caused each other, but I caused a lot of problems because there was so much. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know how to approach her, and so on and so forth. But point is, she gave me someone to care enough about to want to change and improve and figure certain shit out about myself, and then my relationship with them, and so on and so forth. And my kids did that even more so, and so it put that fire under my ass. But point is, If I didn't have that stuff, I could have ended up that guy easily. I was already like that in my early 20s. My early 20s, dude, in when I was 20, I think when I was like no, when I was 19, 20. And remember, this is like pre easy access internet, easy fact checking type stuff, okay? It was all you had mostly was like a couple of 56K shitty websites, and internet was pretty fucking slow in general, and then you had the library, okay? I was 19, 20. I was reading David Icke books and like eating that shit up. And if you don't know who David Icke is, look it up. You'll fucking laugh your ass off. Now it's funny. Now it's funny because now you could just like be like, wow, that's look at all this information that makes you seem stupid. I could just watch a video essay that explains why all your shit's stupid and factually incorrect. Right? But my schizo ass at 19, 20, probably 21, I was just like, reptilians, that explains everything. Right? Like that explains why like humanity is so disjointed and why the people in power must be insane, alien psychopaths, because that's the only way any of this could possibly make sense, right? Right? It has to be something that crazy for any of this to make sense. That wild, that just it's top bottom fucking alien agenda. You know what I mean? And like, dude, I believed a lot of that shit in my early 20s and late teens. I was all about that, dude, like everything, right? And as I got older, I did more, the internet developed more. I was able to do more research. I was interested in history. I learned history, American history and European history. I dug into that more of the 20th century, 19th century stuff was interesting to me. I got really into stuff like the Cold War, more modern, I guess, contemporary history, various, wars over the last 100 years or so, well, 120 years. And so I learned about how intelligence works and various things about everything from, to KGB to CIA to Mossad and all that kind of stuff, but like the actual stuff, right? I was actually reading primary sources, writing papers on them, and and what did I find out? I found out that some of these wacky things were true, but they're largely exaggerated, mixed with a bunch of conjecture, and I discovered that there were some incredibly wacky things that various state governments have done, but it wasn't because of an alien agenda, even though I would love to believe that because it's way more fun. It was because of things like incompetence and ignorance and power mongering and individualism on the part of people in positions of power and shit like that. Like, that's what I was seeing when I was looking at the primary sources. I wasn't seeing a cover up because we were reverse engineering UFOs and putting implants in people's brains. As much fucking fun as that sounds. Uh, oh yeah, David Icke makes a bit more sense if you take 90% of his narrative as metaphor. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. Who's the kitty? The project. Yeah, but things like Project Stargate, Project Monarch, MK Ultra, all that stuff's real. Like, all that stuff is real, right? But it's not like the movies. It's more stupid than crazy. Or sorry, more stupid than nefarious sometimes. And but don't get me wrong. Some of those wacky experiments and wacky projects that different state governments did, they got information. They got information that they ultimately can use in a practical level in other departments. It's just easy, right? Um I know I'm getting off the track here, but my point is it was because of certain elements that I eventually grew out of these kind of I was able to have a stronger ability to control, in my case, my like sort of loose associative thinking, right? And some of it was like, it wasn't just loose association, it was also like a bias, because I had like these kind of like, I probably had some kind of weird, I had internal fantasies and wish fulfillment about the world like being so crazy. Like the reason I'm so out of place in the world is because like I can see through the veil. You know, like I had like weird. I probably, yeah, for sure in my early 20s. Oh yeah, I had like these weird like fantasies about like I can see the truth and everyone else is blind. Oh, they're just not seeing how it really is. Oh, you know, like I went through that stage. And some people never get out of it. And the reason they never get out of it is because, well, they don't have anything. They don't have. They're just they're on the top rungs of the ladder and just assumed all the other rungs are for granted. They're like they hopped like 10 steps, grabbed onto the highest rung, regardless of how fucking shaky it is. And yeah, me doing that again, right? Shaky it is, and then just when somebody tells them, "Hey, guy, you're just holding on to the top rung. You're not going to be able to climb up to where you're trying to get. You're just hanging there. You don't have any rungs to put your feet on and keep climbing." They just yell back, "I don't need those rungs. I got this one. This is the one that matters. All the other ones don't matter. I don't need them. My feet don't need to rest on anything. I just hang up here all day." It's funny to me, but it's tragic because I could have just as easily ended up some quote unquote schizo on the streets, um, homeless and raving and possibly on drugs and such. Like I could have easily that could have easily happened to me. And I just think about when I see somebody like that, I just go, well, shit, that could have been me, huh? Right? What the fuck am I gonna judge them? Why the fuck am I gonna sit here and go, ho ho? I guess I got the good RNG rolls, even though a bunch of them were really bad, and they continue to be. But I got some good ones, haha, guy, with all the bad RNG and the bad mental equipment. Let's just make funny ha-has. It's kind of depressing. And I look back at myself when I was like in my my 20s, and I used to laugh at that stuff too. Like I used to laugh at Temple OS videos and stuff, like, and just laugh, "Oh, this guy's so crazy. Look at him, he thinks CIA glow in the dark. Oh, so stupid, so nuts. Ha, man, what a schizo." And I'm like, wait a minute. I kind of think like I don't. It's like I think like that, not like that guy particularly, but I think like that. But I just have more discipline and control and shit over it. Like I can stop myself from believing this shit. I just go, oh, that's an interesting connection. Let's investigate. Let's read. Let's stop. It's exciting. I know you want to go like, oh shit, but no, just slow down. There's probably a really mundane reason for all of this. And when there's less evidence of a mundane reason, then obviously I get excited and it's fun. But I don't get stuck on it. I don't go like, I don't put all my fucking cards on that shit. I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I think a lot of us do that. And it's bad. And I totally just stopped. I just went crazy and just kept talking, didn't I? Oh shit, Shadow's in here. Oh, we still got time. Hey, Shadow.
I just got here like 5 minutes ago.
Oh man, I just went on a ramble. Holy shit.
I mean, I heard you talking about your schizo stuff, though. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know what
but
the topic is. I just got here.
no,
But
just to give you a very small brief. It basically started with how a lot of schizoids, autistic or schizo, they always have these like meta narratives. They're not abstract necessarily, but meta narratives that they kind of focus so much of their energy and self onto that they forget all the steps that lead up to it. assuming that all those things that lead up to it, or the smaller layers like connection and friendship and shit like that, are just irrelevant and easily ignored. And then you're just up there. The way I described it was being up there, hanging on to the top rung of a ladder, and without any of the other rungs being there, and just hanging there and saying, "I'm at the top and I'm staying here," while you're dangling. So anyway, that's
Am I
where.
still in the meta narrative? Because those stuff don't really feel like they matter to me all the same.
What do you mean?
Well, like those other rungs you were just talking about, I was just like, well, I mean, I don't really want those either.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Those rungs, we're trying to get to the top of a specific ladder, and maybe we're ignoring ladders that have rungs that could support us. We just keep trying to climb the ladder everyone else is trying to climb.
Oh, that actually, okay, so that actually relates to what I was just talking to my brother about tonight.
Yeah, go for it.
Where, I mean, that that just sounds like a lot to do with just neurodivergency in general. Because then it's like, for example, me and my brother were, and I didn't really know about this until today, until he started opening up. Because I kind of, went off on my autistic psychology special interest, slant that I do nowadays. But apparently, he relates to ADHD, and that's news to me, right?
Mm-hmm.
But his first, like, before he even accepted, or before he even said that, I brought up the whole, oh, I'm different than other people, but that's an understatement, and I'll have that conversation another day. And it's just like, oh no, you're not different than other people. We're all uniquely the same. And I
That's the
got
fucking
pissed.
word. Well, that shit's the
I
worst, man.
got pissed. But I told him why I got pissed. I articulated it this
Yeah,
time.
it's
I
very
was like, oh,
frustrating when you're trying to convey your unique issues and problems, and you're actually making the attempt to explain it, and it gets dismissed as, "Oh, that's too sad. I don't want to hear that about you." Stop.
No. But it wasn't dismissed this time. I articulated it as,
Oh.
I agree with you, but that's a technical argument. And I don't really give a fuck about anybody else, because I have problems, and I know who I am, so fuck off. Right? And you know what that did?
What?
It made him like, oh yeah, I actually relate to ADHD stuff now that you mention it. It's like, well, no shit! Now you relate to the crap after I give you a space that's accepting of that? Well, damn, if that ain't surprising.
I know. Well, I mean, because that's why I ramble on and on about metacognition, because if people aren't taught that other things exist, and they aren't taught how to integrate other things that exist outside of their small scope of knowledge, then they have no means to they'll use go-tos to get out of or dismiss the conversation entirely if it makes them uncomfortable. People do it all
But
the
then
time.
it was also, he related to ADHD because he continuously has problems when it's like forgetting things or just generally, I guess forgetting things, that was just on a whole. Focus, forgetting things, stay on task for a lot of stuff.
It's usually executive function shit that fucks with.
Oh fuck! There's a shit all over my microwave.
But for the ADHD, even for me, it's the executive function part that's the shitty part, because you want to focus on something even though you think it's boring, because you need to do it and that's important for you to do it. But your brain's like, nah, fuck that. Nah, no.
Yeah.
Let's hyper focus on this over here instead.
This exactly relates to I don't know if. Well, I don't know the full extent because I didn't even know he related to ADHD until today. But this is important because he was talking about this in the context of working with my father. Mm-hmm. And my father is very much not accepting of excuses because his idea of masculinity is very integral to his identity. And he's very traditional in that retrospect. So,
so being autistic is an excuse, or what?
when you are forgetful and when you cannot find the energy to get out of bed because other things occupy your mind, or you just generally have a hard time to focus,
Okay.
you're lazy.
You're lazy and you're lacking motivation or something.
You're not focusing hard enough. I mean,
not
literally,
tenacious enough.
know, right?
Not go-getting enough.
But again, that's his idea of what being a man is, right? He's making him to conform to these ideas that make it worse.
Well, yeah, but then you have to also fill in the context of there is something to feel bad about when it comes to your dad, which is that he believes this kind of very thing that's very faulty because of a bunch of insecurities and whatever other bullshit.
Yeah, and then okay, that's another tangent all its own because everybody's a gray area. So how deep does this rabbit hole go, right?
It goes as deep as you want it to.
We digress on that, right? The reason why people use these conformities and baseless accusations to deny themselves and each other, fucking the sins of the father all the way down,
But even if you acknowledge the tragedy of someone else's life and what led up to certain aspects of it, it ultimately is the decision of the individual whether they're gonna use their cope to hurt others.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Are you using your cope to hurt others? When you're using your cope to hurt others, sorry, but people around you and the people you're hurting are gonna damn well judge you and hate you for it. And
when I introduce the context of a space where I know what the fuck I'm talking about, right? Because I watch videos every goddamn day of my life about psychology.
Yeah, you're fucking obsessed.
Every minute I'm at work, right? And I actually articulate things in a way that makes sense and isn't just autistic word salad. All of a sudden,
let's take that back. Let's not. Autistic people don't talk in word salads, but sure, go ahead.
Angst, okay, fine.
Okay. All right, go.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyway, the point I was trying to make was I was making coherent arguments and articulating concepts that were very easily digested and understood because he was neurodivergent in the first place. But he never has that space to talk about with people, and his first instinct is to deny it himself because that's what he was taught, that's all he knows. So when I could just completely, so easily cut through all of those baseless denials, it was just wow, that, how did you do that so easily?
Yeah, because it's fucking fragile shit. It's just
yeah, no kidding. If you push
cardboard box fucking armor.
But a single coherent argument just destroyed the whole fallacy that he was living in.
Yeah.
Entirely.
Careful when you do that to people. They either do introspection or they fucking lash the fuck out. So that's the only thing. So you
was in a good enough mind space, and I think
I know that's what I'm saying. But some people go wild bananas, man. You can put yourself.
Yeah, if I did that to my father, if I explained how his insecurities of what it means for him to identify as a father, and that whenever that's being entrenched upon, that's when he gets pissy and argumentative, he would again flip out because I would be doing the very thing that would piss him off.
Yeah. I'm angry not because of the reason that you said, but it is.
The very act of revealing his insecurity about being a father.
That's why there's tactful ways to do it, but some people you can't even do that. You can't even do the tactful ways of approaching those questions. The moment that they have a detector, the moment they whiff something, they whiff something that might be opening up some insecurities of theirs. Woo! They'll just shut down and fucking kick that door open or whatever the fuck it is they're gonna do. It's rough.
in the sense of my brother, I wasn't invalidating him, and in fact, I was validating the fact that these things are real problems, but
Yeah.
no shit, they're real problems because his brain just doesn't literally fucking think like that. Because I was essentially validating him by invalidating his aggressors, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of why it probably didn't trigger his insecurities as much as it would someone
Yeah.
else.
Like Trudy's.
But the
Yeah,
whole
Trudy just said, can't tell someone their car is shit. Yeah, Trudy apparently this morning told an ex that their car was kind of shit, and she got a knife to her throat for it. So
well,
that's all it takes. You can call his car shit. Guess what? God knows what insecurities are attached to that right there. And God knows what that response will sometimes be. Sometimes it's a knife to your neck.
and the idea of conformity completely changing perspective. Fucking, I'm prime example of that. Hi, how you doing? If you met me before I started talking on your streams, I was a completely different man. Now
Hey,
people fucking shut up and listen to me when I speak. Like, who the fuck? What? What happened? People hated me before. Now they're interested in what I have to say? What the fuck?
I know. I don't know. That part is weird for me because nobody ever was interested in anything I had to say, and I wasn't so much concerned with the fact that no one was interested. It was more that no one understood what I was trying to say, and now I have like a whole audience of people that understand what I'm trying to say, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, so...
Oh, but just really quickly before I forget it, because it's a really inappropriate joke. Trudy, you know how you got that? Well, okay, so Trudy's a regular, and Trudy has said it before. They have a DID, and I know that's not how a DID works. But Trudy, the next time somebody you know what the coolest line you can say? Don't say this because you might get yourself in trouble. But I'm saying the coolest action movie line that you could say if somebody put a knife against your neck, you would say, "Which one of me are you gonna kill?"
But Angst, they would. You know what they would reply if they're really evil?
All of you.
All of them.
Yeah, if they know. And then that's when you disarm them, and with the one that can disarm them, you hit fight or flight, and then the dangerous Trudy that can bite and scratch and kick and kill kicks in.
No, you gotta get
system loaded.
You gotta divide yourself into two of your systems, and they control different parts of your body independently, like you're a fucking mecha, so they can work at maximum efficiency.
I know, like I said, it's just doing a disservice to the idea. It's just a joke, but it's just funny to think about it like the old Matrix movies where you're just you just ask the computer, you just imagine whatever you imagine you become. Oh, I know martial arts now. Activating martial arts, Trudy. So it's stupid, but it's just the fun. It's just the fun. Yeah. But I'm glad you're okay, Trudy. You were so calm. I know. It's like when you put a knife up against somebody that probably thinks about backflipping every month or so. Putting a knife against their neck it's kind of a mood threat. Right? It's just oh, you're gonna.
You gotta be careful though. You got to be careful though, because sometimes they'll blush if you put a knife to your neck, and then that's when you know you fucked up.
That when you?
That's when you know you fucked up, and you got to.
That's where you freak somebody out that thinks they're being tough. Is if you tell them, "I'm oh sweet, now I have to do it myself." You're gonna take care of me for me? Thanks.
Can you imagine going up to rob someone at knife point or gunpoint, and
Oh, they do the thing where they grab the barrel and put it against their forehead?
Well, no, they get turned on, and then you're just wait a minute.
They're just standing there with an erection?
Why is it always a guy to you? Why can't
it's the most apparent, because then how would they know? That's the funnier one, because it'd be
apparent. You can read body language and just overall
if they just stand there with a fucking tent pitch, it's funnier. Because it's obvious.
Okay,
they can't deny it.
If someone's blushing with a smile on their face and they're visibly
they're not going to be
excited,
ooh, woo. They're not going to do that.
No, it's like they're not shaking. They're like
No.
jumping. Like
People would be
it's with
hiding it. I'm
excitement.
saying they would be hiding it.
Why would they be hiding it?
Well, because they're in danger. They know they're still in danger, but
No, they
like,
don't. They're not in danger. They're in sex mode now.
no, that's not how that works. Oh God, Shadow.
What do you mean that's not
Please,
how that works?
Shadow, please, just you should not talk about that subject. You know
I
nothing
shouldn't talk about sex.
because you don't know shit.
Isn't that how people that have the sex work?
No, it depends on the conditions, right? It's anyway.
I don't know about that one.
Like they might later fantasize about the robbery if they have that fetish, but they're not gonna be then and there getting all antsy and squeezing their thighs together. Like,
Are you sure?
yes,
Uh,
they're gonna, because well, one, there's gonna be a lot of
I don't know
shame
about
associated to it. Even if they want to, they're gonna be feeling pretty
no,
ashamed
but the
that they
shame
feel
also turns
that
them
way.
on. The shame turns them on even more.
I don't know, man. That's a pretty out there person. You should hit him up. That's the kind of girl you should be dating.
I
Anyway,
should not have done that. Who
yeah,
the fuck do you
those are
think
your kind
you
of
are?
girls that you
Those
need
are
in
not
your
my
life.
girls.
Yeah, they are. You've said it
Well,
before. You want the ones that are just like so full of problems. You'll never run out of things to fix because you're a
Yeah, but I
problem
don't want to
fixer.
suck their problems away. That's like the opposite of what I want to do.
Oh, okay.
Don't fucking touch me. Disgusting. Get away.
You don't want a girlfriend that you have to fuck her problems away.
Oh, that'd be awful. Can you imagine the sensory hell that an autistic would have? Who loves solving problems, but the only way they can solve problems is to fuck them away. It'd be the start of the worst doujin ever.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. That'd be pretty bad. Yeah, worst doujin ever.
And that,
Or,
yeah, you know,
best
you know.
doujin ever.
Imagine those dojins where that is the solution, but the person's autistic, so it's just hell.
So then it's just like a horror manga.
Yeah.
That sounds really funny. Like there should be like, wouldn't that be like you know those hentai isekais where like, oh, you're the one last man on Earth and you have to like breed with all of us, right? Like kind of bullshit stories.
That's kind of what I was going for.
Yeah. But what I'm saying, it would be really funny to have something like that where the person is like averse or like even asexual, and they have to just spend the rest of the show escaping all their flirtation and bodies thrown at them, and they have to like eventually like defend themselves with like weapons to keep them away and out because they're sending like the fighters or the warriors to try to retrieve them because they're that valuable a resource. That sounds fucking stupid and funny. And this person's just like, get away from me! I don't want to breed with any of you. I don't want to breed.
Person becomes fucking Doomslayer because they want to retain their virginity.
Or what if the person like starts like they're like, you have to
Doomslayer
repopulate.
is canonically virgin. It would work.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, what if they have to repopulate the Earth and they're willing to do that philosophically, but they're not willing to touch anyone? So then they're just basically living in some like hermit house, occasionally donating bottles with sperm into like a cup.
See, that would be like the rational like thing that would happen, right? Like if we did have a story, that would actually be how that worked.
Yeah, because they would just go into like a research lab and be like, we need your coom to repopulate our planet, and they'd be like, all right, and then you can imagine you could live like a fucking king and not have to touch anyone, because they would be like, don't upset the splooge king, we need him, just let him do his thing, he'll give us the cup at the end of the week, we're good.
Yeah, but you think you'll be living like a king when you're really going to be fucking fodder in a milking machine factory, and you're just
No, that's
no better than a fucking
terrible.
slave
No,
to the
but they
machine.
can't do that because you're the last one. If you too anxious,
That's exactly
or too
why they can do that.
no,
because
but
you're
if
the
you're
only
too,
one.
no, because if you're too anxious and too stressed and fucked up, you're not gonna produce good stuff. It's gonna be all bad. It's gonna be all bad. It's gonna be just low quality
Semen,
shit.
Angst.
No, it's not. Are you serious right now? Or do I have to
Yeah.
educate you?
Do not educate me about semen. If I'm wrong, I choose to remain wrong.
Okay, well you're wrong. Absolutely, the quality of a man's seed is affected by their health, by their
Okay, I know
like
that, right? But like,
stress.
it all gets the job done.
Yeah, but you're not gonna get good shit that's gonna probably get the job done completely. You're gonna have like fucking half dead, all fucked up spermies and shit.
Oh no, I was stressed out. Now my child's autistic.
No, that's not how that works.
Get the fuck out of here.
It's not autism. It's other things like just the seed won't fucking make it. Men have to take care of the body. Virility isn't just can you get your dick hard. Anyway,
I don't believe you.
Shadow, don't let him scare you too much, bro. You got like 5 billion of them motherfuckers up
no,
on top.
he has
so.
5 billion. I'm just saying, he's saying that like in a isekai where like they do the stupid thing where this is, by the way, everyone listening, this is what always happens. We talk about something substantial, and by the last half hour, it turns into absolute nonsense, or some just fucking the most stupidest fucking conversation. Okay, so this is what I was saying, Withers. Okay, so he's saying, Withers is the man expert, right, Withers? Okay, so
There you go.
okay, right. Anyway, so.
Did you just say Withers is the man expert?
Yeah, like about what it is to be a man and what's good.
Yeah, Withers knows everything there is to know about a man, don't you, Withers?
It's just funny. It's just whatever.
Withers,
Exactly.
you know so much about men.
Yeah, he knows everything about men inside and out. Anyway, so this is what I was gonna say. I was saying that if there's an isekai and the guy, and it's just, oh no, I'm the one guy in a planet full of beautiful women that need my seed because there's no more men. You know that stupid story.
Yeah. Okay.
He's saying, oh well, they're just gonna fucking nail you to a bed and just milk you like a cow. And I'm saying, no. But what I was saying is that no, they're gonna fucking pamper you because they want the best samples.
You know what? No. It's gonna be even worse.
Look.
Yeah, because
Shadow,
if they just
worried about this.
No, because if they
you
just
are
put
the last
you,
man, they're gonna you.
But if they just if they just pump you on a machine or something just to get all the fucking shit they can. Dude, that stuff's gonna be so low quality, so shit. You're gonna be stressed, depressed, fucked up in the head. You're not gonna be making good shit. It's gonna be terrible shit. It's gonna affect your shit.
Yeah, but remember, Angst, all the men are dead, so it's just women making this decision, so, I mean...
Oh, okay, that's absurd. No, Jesus, Will. No, but I'm saying is that... No, that's so absurd. Come on. But what I'm saying is that...
Hey, hear me out.
Oh,
so, it's gonna be even worse, and I'm gonna, like, go along with your nihilism here. None of the factions that are fighting for you will even use your sperm at all. They will just use you as a political pawn, and the world will die out because of their own greed and selfishness.
Oh, I got an even better one. They just basically just clone you a bunch of times and then get rid of the original.
Where the fuck did cloning come from?
I don't know.
That's not a
if you have less than
bunch of
15,000 people in the species alive, both male and female, you need to have like half and half. Then the species is going to be fucked anyway. So
that's why you clone a bunch of brain dead shadows and farm all of them.
Yeah,
just farm them. Just keep them alive on a fucking unit and just fucking take that shit out like it's a goddamn with a catheter.
They call that just a yippee farm.
The yippee
You
porn.
just have a bunch of.
So what did we
You just have
discuss
a
that
bunch
was
of
like
meat-
serious today, bros?
Oh
What
my
was,
God.
what was
I'm
Hey,
not,
hey.
I'm not going back. But I'll
Okay.
just tell you. But the serious thing was talking about how people that are schizoid oftentimes they attach themselves to some kind of meta narrative. It doesn't have to be abstract, but some kind of meta narrative, and then
Right.
they sort of forget about all the rungs that lead up to that ladder, and they just hang up to they just hang on to that top rung, screaming how important it is while they're just dangling there, not being able to climb up.
Yeah, like
Yeah, but that's
metacognition.
just
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
That's just the danger of conformity and shit, and just being told
Withers' meta narrative has to do with like all that stuff he talks about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but no, I agree with you.
I think he
I'd
knows
just like to
this.
suggest maybe a couple topics. The videos that Penzi did here lately that were pretty good. The reasons why
Penzi?
schizoids are often seen, schizoid vision.
Oh, is there Pinsy? Okay, wow. Is that their name? Pinsy?
I'm pretty sure that's like her
Is it
short name
Pinsy?
or whatever, I think. Yeah. Anyway,
I'm not good with names. She did tell me her name. It's just when I talk to people, I remember their usernames. I just remember
right. Well, whatever. It's Vision.
Yeah.
She had brought up 5 reasons why Zoids are seen as arrogant, and 10 reasons why Zoids might make a good friend for people. Those are pretty good topics. I thought might be good to.
Well,
go in depth
I can
sometime.
name one reason why Zoids can be perceived as arrogant.
Mm-hmm.
You're one of them, Withers.
I know. Just like Withers.
Reason number 1: Withers exists.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah,
But-
Withers exists. Reason number 1. Just make it all 10 reasons. Withers.
There was only 5, but yeah, we can go ahead and
you
extend
make
it to
it.
10.
No. We'll make it 5. We'll make all 5.
I'll be the first 5.
Yeah. No, you'll be all 5 Withers, and your response will be. You know what your response will be? Your response will be
What's
like,
that?
"Look at me, I'm all 5. That's great."
Boost.
You're like, "Woo! I got some dopamine. I'm at the top 5 of a list."
That's right.
You don't even care if it's bad.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm at the top. That's what matters.
Mhm.
Anyway, no.
Keeping the little bearded dragon asleep here
It's
is
just
actually what
funny,
matters.
'cause
I need to be
You're
quiet.
honestly, like, the more I talk to you with, there's the more the opposite of arrogant that I think you are. You're like, you're not arrogant at all, Withers. If
Some
you-
people do get that impression sometimes. They
no,
and they
you're
also
not arrogant. You have some ideas that are just wacky to me, but you're
That's
not
true,
arrogant,
yeah.
dude. You like, you know how to laugh at yourself. I fucking talk
I
shit
do.
to you all the time, and you just brush it off. You don't even give a fuck.
I
I'll be like, Withers, you're stupid and I hate you. You're like, yeah, well, whatever. It's fine. You're just some fucking loser anyway. Who cares? Now,
I think that's
if Zeus came down from his Mount Olympus, super muscular and surrounded by ladies, and then said, "Withers, you suck ass, and I hate you," then he's destroyed. Then he start crying, fall down, devastated.
maybe I don't know, man. I might first be
the
like, wow,
alpha
Zeus
male.
exists?
Oh,
Shit.
the Giga
Oh no,
Chat.
the yogurt male told me I'm not worth anything. Well,
the
that's all I
Giga
ever
Chat
do.
said I suck. I can't
Where
deny
is
his,
that?
I can't deny his
Got it
statement.
from
Look
there.
how big his cock is and how chiseled his chin is.
Dudes, did you guys listen to that Myth Vision podcast about Yahweh and his ancient origins? Holy shit.
Who?
This dude was packing.
Who? Who was?
Yahweh, God.
No, I
The
know, but who
bald.
did the talk?
Oh, so it was by a channel named Myth Vision, but they had Dr. Stavropa Kapulu. She's a Greek lady. And she, I think it's Greek. And she did a whole big, like, investigation into, like, the origins of Yahweh and, like,
Okay.
what we know about Yahweh prior to the Bible, and like what people thought Yahweh
You mean
was.
Jebaloth or the Great Demiurge? Is that who you're talking about?
No, not going to the demiurge part
They're
of
not
like
doing Gnosticism? Okay.
but
that's
just
the
like
fun
the
part.
the origins of Yah. Who is that's kind of the
Yeah,
short
yeah,
name
yeah.
of Yahweh and all.
So
but
what
in any
happened?
case,
What's the big deal? People have talked about that before.
Oh, it's great. No, like she's doing some pretty groundbreaking stuff. I've never seen this in any like kind of History
All
Channel
right,
shit or
link
anything
me
like
up.
that.
Link me up. I'm down to
Okay,
check that out.
I'll
That sounds
look here.
fun.
Hang on.
Because I've heard conversations on like the origins of Christ and Yahweh and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and so I'm wondering what she's saying that's like pretty unique or some pieces
Well,
of
so
research.
she's just doing like a survey, sort of a lot of sources that we have, which are pre-biblical, and
yeah.
we just have like little fragments and shit. But
Yeah.
what can we piece together? And you hear these poems and all that
I'm
they
just
wrote
wondering
about
what the
Yahweh.
up to date thing is because I've heard some of this stuff before and it's interesting, but I'm wondering what if she has like this is a recent talk.
Well, she just came out with the book. Maybe I don't know. A few years back,
Okay.
she's still selling the book, and I mean, it's not just that, but she, there's a whole field of people that study these things, and we have some more recent finds that have been put together with older finds as well. And she just does like a big survey of like what was the thinking of the people that would become the Israelites before they adopted Yahweh as their God, and then what was their thinking of after they had adopted him as their God. But then what did they conceive him as, if anything? Like if he was just one God, who was this guy? Was he always the invisible, not corporeal entity of today, or the ineffable, or was he like literally an embodied God, like almost all of the Canaanite gods at the time were? And he was. And so they talk about like who was this guy, and how is he supposed to be, and they just all the time talking about he's got just talk about the cumin and all. He like is putting putting babies in women as incubators, which is the old school vision of how babies were made. They always thought that it was just like men that did it and women were just the incubators. And so she goes over in detail of how these kind of things went in the mythology and everything. So everything I just told you right there is like straight from her.
All right, well, just link me the thing, because
yeah, I'm trying to find it. Hang on, I'm trying to find
it. Thing. I love this tradition of like Withers gets on and like half of everyone leaves.
They were already gone. What the fuck?
I love this tradition.
People in here.
This is gonna be the new tradition. Like toward the end of I'm not gonna let Withers in until like the last 30 minutes.
There you go. We'll kick everybody out that way.
And then I'll let Withers prattle on about current special interest.
There you go.
Captivated their soul. And
let me see if I can find my history here. Let's see.
Is it because Withers joined, or is it because I stopped talking?
Oh, I don't know. But Withers is really fun because he's like what's the word? He's non sequiturs incarnate. A non sequitur
in a lot of ways, yeah.
Yeah, it just shows up.
Oh wait,
just shows
he's
up.
like,
just starts talking about whatever he feels like talking about. Whatever.
He's like a gourmet feast for an ADHD like you.
Oh yeah, and that's why he's fun to me because I'm ADHD.
Oh wow, this makes so much sense.
It's fun because like he just shows up and he's just like, "Hey everybody, what's going on? Now I got to tell you about this new technology, this streamer. Oh my god, this person talked about this psychological, the philosophy. Oh man, I got this new thing." Like it's always like some new shit shows up. It's like I get current events and shit. Like.
For certainty. All right, so I got two of them here for you. That's the first one right there is like meet the actual guy, and that's with Dr. Stavrakopoulos. And then here's another one that was done without her direct involvement, but it involves a bunch of stuff that's done by her. And this one's is called The Real God of the Bible. And he goes in depth, like
let's go. I'm not
what's
right now,
God's
but I'm down to
letter,
check that
dissecting the divine, just all this shit. So yeah,
Give me
3 hours.
Schizo fuel, man. Ooh.
Dude, it is crazy schizo fuel right here.
I love it. Give it to me, man. Hey, no, but I was gonna say, are you sure, Withers? Are you sure you're not ADHD?
I mean, I don't think so, man, but it's a possibility, man. I don't know.
I honestly, you give me the vibe sometimes, Withers, because like you don't seem to like. You do this ADHD thing that I used to do more.
Yeah,
but it's and I still do it, but it's that thing where like you're not really paying attention to like what the context of the conversation is. you already have like all these ideas and things in mind that you want to talk about,
Right.
or you want other people to talk to you about,
Yeah.
and then like you just arrive, you just show up, and everyone's like, you're like, hey everybody, what's the topic for today? And then if you don't like the topic, you hear it and you're like, anyway, there's this really great thing I saw. It's just like he just like, yeah, that sounds stupid. I want to talk about something else. That sounds boring.
It was a good topic today. It was a good
no,
topic.
It's just funny, man. It's funny.
I
get it. I'm the same way.
I do get how that comes off. Yeah,
dude, I've done that to my wife so many times. It drives her crazy. Like she'll be telling me a story about.
Is that ADHD shit? I mean, what's that called?
No, like she'll like my wife will tell me a story about like some true crime stuff or some shit that she's interested in, and I'm like, I'm a lot better now. Especially, I think it's really helped is the Wellbutrin, honestly. And so then like I would hear one thing, I would just be listening kind of passively, and then like I would start getting distracted by my own thoughts in my head, and then like she'll say something that like hits my brain, right? And then I'll be like, tell me more about that, and then I'll start asking questions about that, and then she'll be like, that's not the point of what I'm telling you, that's just like a little part of it. I'm like, yeah, but I want to know more. And then she'd get annoyed, and she's like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about this. And you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Let's get back to the other thing. She's like, never mind. You're not even paying attention. God damn it. And I'm like, oh, shit. And, I would get myself in trouble like that all the time. And it's just funny. Like you kind of do that shit. I see you do that shit. I mean, obviously, I don't give a fuck. But sometimes I do. There are times where I do. And I have to tell you, like, Withers, not right now. I don't care about that. Like,
I hear you, man. I hear you.
But that's why I do it. I do it because I don't. I hate it personally. I hated when I would do it and then nobody would tell me anything, and then they would just be upset with me.
Right, they're just upset. Yeah.
And then you're just like, what the fuck? What happened? And like, I was just talking about something that was cool. And they're all fucking upset or annoyed, or they just like don't tell you, and so they're all like, people get passive aggressive and weird and all this shit, and instead of just being like, hey, I don't want to talk about that right now, and you're like, oh, okay, because I'm like, okay, what do you want to talk about then?
I hear you, man. I hear you. I mean, I'm surprised that doesn't have like a name that you know of. If it has, I don't know.
It probably does have a name. It's like lack of it's one of the questions for when they test you with ADHD.
Right.
It's like,
I mean, I could have that symptom. I don't know.
It's your ability to stick to a straight line of conversation that you're engaging with another person. It's like, can you have a conversation about something and stick to that something for an extended period without it just going off all over the place, or you getting distracted and doing something else? Like the way you can't even just sit and watch a movie. You have to be doing something, doing this and doing that, and movies in the background. You're kind of half paying attention to it and stuff.
Well, I mean, it is Angst likes awful media, so I mean,
sometimes it's good.
No, that's shite all the way on.
No, sometimes.
But in any case, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's just funny because it's like you can't like. I'm the same way. That's why it's okay. I get it.
It just needs to be something that's interesting to me. I mean, I know.
Exactly.
I suspect that's how it is for the ADHD people, but I mean,
it can be. The ADHD people deal with the special interest in their own way. It'll be kind of like, oh, I can't keep focus about anything you're saying or doing if I don't find it particularly stimulating in some way or another. Because my brain doesn't go, this is stimulating. Like, my brain just goes, I'll go memes. Or, I don't care. I'm going to go over here instead. This is stupid. I want to go over here. It throws a tantrum. Your brain, that's what's annoying. Your brain throws a little fucking baby tantrum. And just goes like, I don't want to hear this. I want to go over here now. This is more fun.
When we're trying to deliver dopamine in this motherfucker, what the hell?
Yeah, I know, but like, that's all the fucking ADHD brain is like fucking a dopamine addict.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's like it's like dopamine's fentanyl or some shit. It's so crazy.
Right. Did you get those messages? Oh, hang on. It said said I didn't send the correct. Well, shit. I guess.
All right. Well, I got the DM. You sent me the DMs, right?
I didn't send it in a DM. I
Oh
sent
my
it in
god!
I sent
Send
on the
it to
channel.
me on the DMs.
All
What
right,
the fuck
okay,
am I gonna do with them on
right.
the channel? You think
Okay.
I'm gonna go back in the history?
I thought you were
watch
just
my
gonna
video?
open it right now. So,
No,
okay.
I told you for later. I'm not gonna watch a whole
I
video
got you.
right
I
now.
got you.
No. This is like the 4th time I've told you this.
Yeah, I know. I keep forgetting. I don't really do direct messages that much. It's not a thing. Let me see.
It's not a thing. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's not really a thing I do. Yeah.
Send me a Yahoo. You want me to download Yahoo Messenger? So you...
Yeah, there we go.
AOL,
Now we're talking.
Messenger, AOL Messenger.
Now
You'll have that ready. You'll have you still have your AOL account.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm ending the stream now. This was fun. Conversation. If you wanted the more topical conversation, watch the earlier portions of the stream later. Please support me on Patreon. Please support me on PayPal. And as I mentioned before, and I'll post it again, if you are interested in the more serious nitty gritty shit when it comes to this stuff, and you want to work with other schizoids and you're on yourself and other shit, and you want to have a real fucking talk about this stuff and work on things, please join the Schizoid, which is a program that me and Joanna run. And she's a Gestalt psychological coach. I'm just a fucking loser on the internet that knows a lot about these things and has a lot of lived experience and heard a lot of lived experience under my belt. And we do our best. And honestly, it's not very expensive if you compare it to what these kinds of programs for other much less important bullshit costs. For it's like 8 sessions, an hour and a half each, once a week. At how much is it? I even forget because it's not even I think about. It's $395 for 8 sessions, an hour and a half, 8 weeks. Plus we do we have a specific setup and questions, and we'll customize it based on the group of people that we get. So we do some work behind the scenes and prepare it, and we've done a few of these, and we've gotten much better at it over time. So just throwing it out there. If you can't do all that shit, then please, any support is very, very nice, guys. I just had somebody upgrade their Patreon recently, and that was really nice of them. Shout out to them, but I'm not going to say who they are because they might not want me to. But pretty cool that they did that. So yeah, anything like that is so fucking helpful, guys. That's another bottle of vodka I can now purchase. No, I'm kidding. Or am I? All right, guys.
That's another schizoid soul down the Angst gullet.
Yeah, another bottle of Kamchatka. I'm kidding. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the help. And as usual,